What's going on, everybody? This is Matt with Hitmen Sports, back here with episode number 7. It's got Sean and Tommy here with me as usual.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on?
Yep. So Happy New Year to everybody. It's January 2nd here. First thing we'll talk about are the new releases this week. Of course, everybody knows you got Prizm Hobby Football coming out tomorrow.
Yahoo!
Yep. So it's pretty much the biggest release every year for football, outside of maybe NT or Flawless. But this one seems to hold the value for the most part on their cards over the other ones, except for maybe like RPAs and some of the products. But it's pretty much the same as usual, except for now this year they've added what do they have, vertical color blasts, and then they also have dual color blasts.
And they added the White Knights.
The White Knights, yep. And weren't the mangas all vertical before, and they're now horizontal as well?
I think they had a couple horizontal in the past.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, other than that, it's pretty much the same old Prizm product. Looks stellar, and some of the early pricing from some of the FOTL cards are just insane for some of the top rookies here. So that one there, we'll have breaks of that all week, and I'll touch on that in just a moment. But before we get to that, the other release coming out this week is Friday. You have Immaculate UFC. So if you're a UFC fan, it's another solid product there. Some sick patches and some of them cards, and they have. This year they have 30th anniversary signature booklets. It looks like it's got at least 12 people on it, which is absolutely insane. And yeah, just looks like a very nice product. So if you're looking for that, we have some for sale. So just reach out on any of the platforms if you want any of that, and we can get you a price on that. So next we'll go into the breaks for the week. I'll let Tommy start and talk about what we got on Whatnot this week.
yeah, very exciting. We got Prizm coming up on 1-3. 1-4 looks like we're probably going to have Prizm. 1-5, probably some more Prizm. It's going to be a lot of Prizm
it's gonna
coming
be a
up.
lot of Prizm.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of good times coming up. It's definitely going to be a fun product. It's one of my favorite ones of the year. It looks like they have some great veteran autos on there as well. Justin Herbert, Hurts. There's going to be some fun cards to pull. Checklist actually just came out. Excited to look through that. Definitely excited to see what the mangas, the dual color blasts, what these case hits end up looking like, and hopefully hit a couple of these White Knights, because that seems like going to be a fun pull this year. It's at 3 on all those White Knights. So definitely stop by, check those out. I'll probably have teams uploaded. I would probably assume tomorrow by noon. Check those out, and should be a lot of fun breaking that.
Yep, and we're also going to be doing a full case break of that as well on eBay. But we're breaking a full case, but in 2 half cases. So those auctions end tonight, Tuesday, and tomorrow, Wednesday. So the 2nd and the 3rd at 8 p.m. on eBay. So check that out. And yeah, so you can get in on it from there or Whatnot, or both. That'd be even better. So next we'll move on to the football picks segment of the week, and Sean, you can.
All right. So last week, Tommy took the lead with 5-5. Matt and I were both 4-1. Overall in the season, we are all deadlocked at 17-13 going into the final week here. So it should be an interesting week going in here. First game on the docket is Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Who you got, Matt?
Well, I think you already know I'm going to take the Steelers. I mean, they've looked a lot better the last few weeks. The game means something to them, whereas Baltimore really doesn't mean anything. So we don't know yet who's starting and sitting. I think Harbaugh said he'll make that announcement on Wednesday, regardless of who he anticipates on starting versus sitting. So, I mean, if their starters do play, it won't be very long. I don't think they're going to risk the injury. With the number 1 seed coming up. So I'm gonna assume that the Steelers are gonna win that. I think they're favored by 3 or 4, something like that. It'll be a close game, but I think the Steelers will win.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Baltimore here. I just feel like they're gonna play the starters for the first half. We kind of have to. I mean, after the 2019 season, you just kind of got to get these guys moving around and make sure that that's not an excuse this year. So. I don't think it's going to be by much, and I think it maybe just is the Ravens holding a lead through the second half. We'll see. Should be a tough-fought game regardless. It always is.
Yeah.
Hopefully just everybody stays healthy, especially if both teams are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, like I said, you look at it both ways. Do you start them and risk the injury, or do you want them to get sedentary from sitting around for 2 weeks? Who knows? But
I just think you just don't want it to be the excuse again, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I did a little digging on this game. I looked at Pittsburgh and Baltimore's overall head-to-head record with Pittsburgh leading 34-25 against the Ravens. And the Steelers have actually won 6 of the last 7, including they already beat the Ravens this year. I feel it's going to be the same thing. I think the Steelers are going to win this game. I think the Ravens are going to sit people. And, I mean, let's face it. What's it, Huntley or Huntley? Huntley, he's not going to set the world on fire when he plays.
He's a Pro Bowler.
Shit, 4 touchdowns. Like, that was a joke. But regardless, for whatever reason, there's always just those teams that have another team's number. And I feel it's going to be the same. Pittsburgh needs this game more than Baltimore does. Baltimore has it locked up, and I feel they're just going to try to be healthy for the playoffs, and I think that's where Pittsburgh's going to take advantage of them. But that's all I got for that game. Next is Houston at Indy. I'll start this one. I'm going with Indy. I feel they are the better team than Houston from top to bottom. Unless you watch the AFC South, this is something you might not know, but the Colts are actually 33-10 all time against the Texans. 33-10-1 actually. But Houston just does not play well against the Colts. They already faced each other once this year with Indy defeating Stroud, despite Stroud throwing up 387 yards in that game. Most of that game, though, was Tank Dell, and Tank Dell's not playing in this one. So I think that's going to hurt Houston. I don't expect Pierce to have a big game with Stewart in the middle. And Indy has actually been playing a lot better at home, where they started rough. Now they're playing a lot better at home. That home crowd on a Saturday night is going to be rocking. And I think the Colts have the better coach. And I think they just find a way to win at home. I mean, that's what they always do against the Texans, is beat them. 33-10. You can't say much about that.
Yeah, I'm taking the Colts as well. I think it's gonna be a close game. Divisional games are always very hard to pick, but I'm gonna give the edge to the home team. That's usually how I lean towards. But at the same time, I could see Houston winning. But it's gonna be a tough matchup. So I think the Colts will pull it out, maybe by like 4 points or less at the end of the game or something like that. It might be a game-winning drive. One of those kind of scenarios, but yeah, I took the Colts on that one.
Yeah, again, another divisional game at the end of the season here. I think the NFL definitely just likes kind of setting this stage.
Oh, they always do that, yeah.
I'm going to go the opposite direction here and just say that Houston takes it. I think it's just a matter of, I think that C.J. Stroud's just going to come in hungry, and if he's the guy that everybody thinks he's supposed to be, he makes it to the playoffs his first year. You know what I mean? And kind of just like a fill the destiny for the kid. Mm-hmm. I guess that's what I'm hoping for, but it's neither here nor there. I think it's going to be a tough fought game, and again, whoever makes the playoffs, hope everybody stays healthy. Last week of the season, and definitely.
I mean, look at Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, I feel so bad for him. Yeah. And Mike McDonald's, the last person that talks to him before he goes off the field, and definitely Mike McDaniel, sorry, and definitely, he shouldn't have had him. It is what it is. Yeah. So the next game we have is Denver at Las Vegas. This is just lack of better matchups, really. I mean, we don't really know what else to put on here. But I'm going to take Las Vegas in the just effort game. I think Antonio Pierce definitely has that team just kind of motivated. And the more they just play these division games and have these scrappy games, I like them in those games. So I'm going to take Las Vegas here. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a barn burner. It might be a pretty boring game. Both of those offenses kind of have been... I don't know. Denver's been targetedly struggling, right? That's a whole different thing to talk about with the whole Russell Wilson situation. Mm-hmm. But for conversation's sake, I'm going to take Las Vegas here.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I think just kind of like you said, Denver's just distracted. They don't, this Sean Payton's first season hasn't turned out how they wanted it to. They thought they was going to, I'm assuming when they thought he went there, he'd turn it around, but it just seems like him and Russell Wilson just can't get along, and it also seems like they don't want to pay him that $37 million, and we'll see where he's at next year, but I don't think it's going to be there. But, yeah, the Raiders, they're not that great either, but I think that they should be able to pull this one out. And this one is, again, it's in Vegas, so my usual reasoning, I'm going to go with the home team. But, yeah, this could be like a 13-7 kind of game, something like that. I don't see many points in that one, but I'm going with the Raiders.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me. I mean, Aiden O'Connell, muff cabbage. Jarrett Stidham, muff cabbage. The guy sitting on the bench, Russell Wilson, muff cabbage. So it's just not a very fan-friendly game. I think a lot of people will be leaving for the Luxor by the third quarter to get in on some gambling action. I'm starting to believe that Sean Payton might have been the product of Drew Brees because he hasn't been able to do jack squat with Denver. I mean, he was handed Russell Wilson. He wasn't able to fix him. So, gosh, I think Pierce has his team playing better than Sean Payton does. So I'm just going to have to go with Vegas on that one. Next game is Buffalo at Miami. I guess these two teams played earlier this year. Buffalo spanked the shit out of them. And actually, I don't think Tua's ever beaten Buffalo yet in his career.
I'm not sure, honestly.
I don't think he's won against Buffalo. I could be wrong, but I think I heard that the last time they played. Either way, I think Buffalo turned it around. And even though Josh Allen isn't lighting the world up with his offense the last few games, that defense has been firing on all cylinders, which will make Buffalo very deadly in the playoffs to where they're capable of beating anybody in the AFC. I mean, at any point they could play better than anybody in the AFC. And I think Buffalo just wins that game. I think Miami, that loss of Chubb, that's going to hurt. And I think Buffalo just walks away with this one.
Yeah, I went the other way. I took Miami, only for the purpose that I need the Bills to lose to have a chance of making the playoffs. Same with the Jaguars, well, the Steelers anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I think that Miami hasn't really looked like the same team in the last 4 to 6 weeks that they did in the beginning of the season. But
they're Dallas.
Yeah,
they can't beat a good team.
Yeah, but for some reason, I think Tyreek Hill's going to have a big game in this one, and I think that Miami will pull it. This should be the game of the week, you would think, as far as scoring and everything. Yeah. So I think Miami can pull it out like 33-30 towards the end of the game. So I'm going with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going to say an over on this game for sure. I think that both these defenses are kind of, as good as they are, they're tired. It's the end of the season here. Miami clearly was tired at the end of last game. And they're both just kind of coming off. One's coming off a big defeat. One's coming off a pretty big loss. I'm going to take the team that's coming off a big win. I think they're going to finish the season just as strong as Sean said, and I think Buffalo takes this one. I think it's going to be just as high scoring as you just said it's going to be. I think one of these teams, both of them might hit the 40s. It's going to be some quick moving stuff. And then the next game, last game of the week, besides the little bonus one, is going to be the Rams at the Niners. Really, we don't really know who's going to be playing for the 49ers, but they already locked up the number 1 seed, so this is kind of just a for fun game. But since it's a division game and it means way more to the Rams, I'm going to take the Rams. They've just been on fire and don't really think that's going to slow down. See them getting a little bit higher in the playoffs, and yeah.
Yeah, so I also went with the Rams. I think that, let me look up, I was just looking at this earlier and I lost it. Yeah, so Puka only needs 30 yards or so to break the rookie receiving record. I think he gets that easily in this game. Who saw that guy coming? That's all I can say.
He's ridiculous.
But yeah, he's gonna break that record. And Cooper Kupp's been balling out this year as well. Kyron Williams. I mean, the Rams' offense just looks very good heading into the playoffs. And it's going to be funny because it's right now, as we sit today, Stafford might be going back to Detroit, and that'd be a fitting game to watch. It'd be a fun game to watch. But yeah, like I said, I just think the Rams have been on fire the last 4 weeks of the season here, and I think they'll take that easily with the Niners most likely sitting the majority of their starters.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same way with the Rams. I have a feeling the Niners are going to rest a lot of players having the number 1 seed locked up. I know McCaffrey's not playing, so I think they'll just use this as a week to get healthy. Rams also have a playoff spot locked up. As far as which number yet is still up in the air. So I think they're just going to want momentum on their side going into the playoffs. So I just think the Rams are going to win that game. Final game, National Championship, Washington and Michigan. I'll go ahead and start off with this one. I didn't think Michigan was going to beat. I mean, I felt like they had a chance, but I didn't think they would beat Alabama, just because it's so hard to bet against Alabama. But they found a way there in overtime to beat them. I just, after watching that Washington Texas game, that offense, man, that offense is sick. And so it had me thinking, is Michigan going to be able to keep up with them as far as points? Michael Penix just seems like he's a man of destiny at this point. But I could really see this game going either way. I think Michigan's defense obviously is way better than Washington's. But Washington's offense, I think, is way better than Michigan's. So this is basically, is defense going to win or is offense going to win? But I'm going to take Penix. I feel like they're like a team of destiny. But I wouldn't be shocked if Michigan wins this game.
Yeah, I've definitely been on the Penix train all year, and I didn't think that Texas even stood a chance, except if it was going to be a shootout. And Texas held their own and just couldn't finish late, and clearly Washington's offense is just that good. Penix is fire, and they're going to have three wide receivers taken in the first two rounds.
Sick.
I mean, what more can you really talk about in that regard? But that being said, I think it is just the year of Harbaugh, and who's got it better than the Harbaughs? That's what I got to say. So I think I'm going to take Michigan here. I think Michigan wins this one, and Ravens follow it up.
All right, yeah, I'm going to go with Michigan fan, so I'm not going to pick against them, obviously. So I just think that, like you said, who's going to win, the offense or the defense, and the old adage, defense wins championships, I think will apply here. I mean, it's going to be a tough matchup.
Oh yeah,
it's very tough. But
it's
yeah,
a really good game.
Like I said, if or what I'm going to say is if they can keep Washington under 30, I think they'll beat them. But if they can't, then they're not going to. Like
that's a pretty good assessment there.
So if they got to, because they're not going to keep up with them offensively.
Hey,
Blake Corum's a monster.
If Blake Corum goes out there and he's got to have a big game to get himself into the second round, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
So if he has to go out there and has a huge week, he gets himself some draft stock.
Yep. Outside of him, it's been kind of who's going to step up. Loveland, a tight end, is pretty good, but he didn't have a great game last week. And Roman Wilson's another good guy, another good receiver. But yeah, I think Michigan's favored by 3 or something like that as of right now. I don't know if it's changed at all. That was as of last night, should I say? I didn't look at it this morning, but again, I think that they can pull it off. Kind of a similar type score, 27-24. Yesterday was 27-20, right?
27-20, yeah.
I think it'll be something like I said again, if they keep it under 30, they win. If it goes over 30,
yeah, I think if it comes to a shootout, Washington's going to win.
Yep.
But if they play defense, Michigan, I think, can control the game.
Yep. All right, and that's I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up there. So we took six this week to kind of have like a tiebreaker. Although I'm sure we'll still keep picking the playoffs and all that stuff.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, appreciate you guys checking it out. And if you're not following us on all of our socials, please do that. And again, don't forget we got Prizm auctions ending tonight on eBay and tomorrow night, and then the rest of the week, whatnot. Check it out.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys.
Yep. Later.